Alright guys, how you doing, and welcome back to a very special video on the FPL Updates channel where we've thankfully, thanks to you guys, the viewers, reached 500 subscribers. Thanks so much for that. So in return, we thought we'd do a special question and answer video. So we asked you to send us some questions on Twitter using the hashtag FPL Updates, and we're going to try and respond to as many as possible. So without further ado, let's get straight into the problems that you guys need solving. So the first question comes in from Sam Ahmad, and he wants to know what to do with Diego Costa because he doesn't know whether to bin him or not. Is he going to get a ban? Well, yesterday he was charged by the Football Association, and it looks like that he's probably going to get a 3-match ban. So just to be on the safe side, it's probably best to take Diego Costa out of your team, Sam. Aaron Ragavan wants to know, tough choice between captains for next week, Hazard, Aguero or Coutinho. Well, if you want to know who to captain, you're going to have to watch our Gameweek 7 preview video, which would be out later in the week, probably Thursday or Friday. So that's how you're going to get the answers to that question, mate. Very cheeky of you indeed. Henrik Strand would like to know, will every single question be answered? And my answer to that is, well, I don't know what to say, to be honest. I'm doing my best to answer all of them. We did actually get quite a few in, but you know, don't get too disheartened if we didn't answer it. Don't take it personally. Jason Brookins at Mr. Jane Brookins would you like to know, I want to replace Alexis Sanchez. I would need to remove another City player to get De Bruyne. Who else would be good? So basically, Jason's not happy with the lack of goals and assists from Sanchez this season, and he's wondering who he could get of a similar calibre. Well, obviously Eden Hazard was back to scoring ways. He might not be a bad shout. And I also think Bakary Sakho at Crystal Palace is decent. But yeah, De Bruyne is good, but you know, I don't know who you take out. Maybe take out a defender since they're not defending too well if you want to get De Bruyne involved. But yeah, I'd say Bakary Sakho is very good. Mahmoud Adas would like to know, do you think Son, that's Heung-min Son, the Spurs forward will be a good pick, or should we go with the safe picks like Aguero? Listen, Mahmoud, there's no reason why you can't have both of them. That's the safest option to do. Have both in your team, and there'll be a cheap, decent one, maybe like a Berahino or a Wilson as your third forward. Son's been good. He's got 3 goals, you know, in his last 2 games. He might be one to look out for if Spurs are 1-2 on the bounce. Matthew Curry has asked us on Twitter using the hashtag FPL Updates, who do you think is the best value player in fantasy football bar Mahrez? Well, if you know me from the start, before the season, I recommended Mahrez because I'd watched him quite a lot at international level too. He's very good. But the best value, I think Callum Wilson's looking very good. He's the top scoring striker this season. And, you know, to play for AFC Bournemouth, that's a pretty cheap price. I think you get him for about 5.5 million maybe at the beginning of the season. He's really good value. And Neom at Watford, because Watford are keeping a lot of clean sheets. He's doing pretty decent as well. Maybe Russell Martin too. He's scoring goals for fun at Norwich. But yeah, those are pretty good value. Suprif Gowda has asked, do you think sticking with Memphis Depay will pay off eventually? If not, suggest a perfect replacement for him. I don't know, because I think Memphis's game is really adapted much better to the European game. That's why he keeps scoring in the Champions League. In the Premier League, he hasn't proved himself. But I think, you know, Anthony Martial, if you're going to pick a Manchester United player with you want to go, I would not stick with Memphis because I think 6 weeks now, that's more than enough time to perform. A replacement, I would probably go with, you know, looking at that sort of price. You know, it's a difficult one, to be honest. Maybe because we saw Mahrez, we mentioned Mahrez earlier, but you're still going to have some cash left over. I understand that issue, but I would go with the man that is Yaya Toure, because I do think Yaya is going to have to step up following City's loss to West Ham, and in the midfield, he's driving a lot more forward. He could be a decent pick. And Yuval Seri would like to ask, do you believe that Martial will be a permanent, reliable FPL player as the season goes? My answer, it's a difficult one, because a lot of money was paid for him. There's a lot of pressure on him, but he's delivering. But if you look at his goals against, what was it, Southampton, you know, one was a back pass, and one was a neat finish. They're not great goals, they're not outside the box stunners. I think if he gets to, the supply from the people like Mata behind him, he will score if he plays up front. I don't know. I think it's worth keeping him because he's a good player. We'll have to see as the season goes, because we saw this last season with Harry Kane. You know, people were like on and off about him. Is it worth it? And in the end, it proved it was. He got 20 goals. So yeah, I think it's worth giving Martial at least a shot. I mean, if he scored 3 goals in 2 games, he's proved that he can deliver on the big stage. And that concludes our question and answer session. Thank you so much for watching this video, and let's get another 500 subscribers where we'll do another special. Remember to look out for our Game Week 7 preview and leave a comment below if you disagree with any of the answers we said. We hope you enjoy it. Remember, this video is sponsored by the Premier Punt, and drop it a like.